Johnston. Today we have Bill Baldree, a B-17 pilot from World War II. And Bill, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time out and to spend with us today and tell us about your story. And how old were you when you got into the Army Air Corps?
20. I was living in Chillicothe, Texas.
What year did you go in?
41.
1941.
41, yeah.
Before or after Pearl Harbor?
Before.
Before? Okay.
Yeah.
What made you want to go into the military?
I'd saved up enough money to go to college one semester, and I figured once in college I can get a job and stay in college because I believed deeply in education. When I got old enough to work, the only place you could work was on the farm, chopping cotton, picking cotton, and I wasn't going to do that the rest of my life. I felt like I needed an education. I want to use my brain rather than my muscles. When I went into the service, I went in as a enlisted man, and I didn't even go to boot camp. Of course, my name being Baldree, B, first thing you do is KP. And after KP, they sent me to communication school. And I graduated. Of course, I was a private, making $21 a month, but I only received about 14 because the rest had to do your clothes and stuff, wash. So I hitchhiked from southern Illinois to Chillicothe, Texas, my home. I walked in the door on December the 7th, just in time to hear it on the radio. My dad asked me, would I have to report back in to the military, and I said I wouldn't think so. I mean, who am I? I'm just a private. But I got the word Monday, got a telegram to report to Atlanta where I was going to be stationed, and so I caught the train. My dad bought the ticket for me, the first money he's ever given me. But anyway, I still love him. Shortly afterwards, they dropped the requirements from college education to high school education to become a pilot. So I applied, went to Tennessee and took a bunch of exams, passed, and then went into cadets and spent 9 months learning to fly, and then another 3 months learning to fly the B-17. Went to Italy and took a B-17 with me. We went, my crew and I, and flew out of Italy. I got shot down on my 30th mission, not by the German machine gun, but by ground anti-aircraft. We were flying into Bologna, and why, I don't know, because it was in the hills. We went in at 18,000, and the hills was probably close to 12,000. So it was low altitude flying, and they didn't have much problem hitting me with the cannon. But my other missions, well, my first mission I had to fly the co-pilot, and the person that got shot down by the German fighter, he was up in front of me, and the German fighter came in at him and I'm sure killed him. He and the co-pilot, they'd figured out that if you attacked a B-17 from the rear, there's too many guns. all of them could shoot at you. And you could fill them full of holes and somehow or another they get home anyway, even full of holes. So they figured out if they just circle in front of us and come in head on and hit the pilot and the co-pilot, it'd only take about 2 or 3 minutes and he's gone. I mean, the airplane, nobody else could fly it. And so down he went. And if I could have run on air, I would have all the way back to Texas. I was scared, I guarantee you. But after that, I got okay, and I figured out, or God helped me. Everything I do, I have to do it through God, and He takes good care of me. And it seemed like to me I got on the outside of the formation, and when the Germans would come around and come in, well, they picked on me. Well, they wasted their time because about the time they got ready to shoot, I popped up. And I don't know whether God did it for me or I did it, but I'd pop up about 20 feet and he spent his time getting away. Otherwise, I got in his route to escape after he fired on me, but he didn't get a chance to. And I don't know whether the people up in the command figured that I had something in me that said the Germans are not going to get me. And many flights I've been shot at or approached from the front, and each time I'd pull up and they'd have to cut to the right to get out of the way. But I couldn't figure out why I got this position all the time. I don't know whether God gave it to me or not, and He probably did because He has been taking good care of me. I got shut down on my 30th mission and was in prison camp 11 months. Escaped twice. The second time we made it, another guy and I, and they came and picked us up and took us to the American camp, fed us good, and flew us to the coast to catch a transport back to the States.
Do you remember what the target was on that mission that you?
Yeah, I've been to. The target on the mission was Bologna, Italy, up in the mountains.
Okay. Oh,
and we went in at 18,000, and Bologna must be about 12,000, something like that. So it's too low for a B-17.
Being that low, you must not have had a whole lot of time to determine whether or not you were going to bail out.
Yeah, the whole crew got out.
Now, once you bailed out and you parachuted down, what happened after that?
Okay, when I hit the ground, because I didn't know how to hit the ground, I never bailed out before, and I sprung my ankles, and but it wasn't very long until an Italian soldier came up. I turned my back to him and put my hands up so that if he's going to shoot me, he'd shoot me in the back, and he didn't. He took me. And
when was it that they took you over to the POW camp?
Oh, it was in Germany, in Stalag 17, and I don't remember the town that's next to it, but they marched us west and south when the Russians were getting close. They didn't want us to fall in the hands of the Russians. Oh, you asked me about the missions. I think I've been to Romania oil fields a couple of times. You know, it's been so long ago, I can't remember a lot of stuff.
Sure.
If you don't if you don't use it, you lose
Right.
it. You know.
When you first got to the POW camp, what was your thoughts? Do you remember what it was like when you first got there?
The first thing I did when I got there, I got the Bible, and I wanted to read it because I've never read the Bible, and I started reading it. I'm used to history and stuff like that, and the Bible, you know, you read a little bit and it refers you some other place on it and another place on it, and it just, I got lost in it.
Were you there for 11 months?
11 months, yeah.
What were the conditions like?
It was okay. It just barracks. See, officers didn't have to work in the German army or military, and I guess the same way in our military. Enlisted men could, or would, or should, or something.
Or had to?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was the treatment okay? Did they treat the Americans okay there, or were they not so nice to you guys?
Yeah, it was okay.
It was okay. They treated you guys okay?
Yeah.
All right.
I have no quarrels with the Germans.
Nice.
Uh,
Now, when you left, when you were able to leave the camp, how did that happen?
the Russians were getting close, so they marched us, a couple of days before we got to train tracks, so that we could get on a train and go to Moosburg, Germany. When we got there, we stayed there a while, and they was going to move us again, and we escaped, but we got caught and put with some other Germans that was going to take us to a PW camp, but the colonel didn't want to because he would be free now to go to the front line. So as long as he had us, he just kept us going.
Okay. Out of all the bombing missions that you did, do you remember anyone being like the worst one? Besides, obviously, the one that you got shot down, obviously.
Yeah.
I get that. But were there any other missions that whenever they said what the target was, that everyone just kind of wasn't all that happy about it?
Well, I had 3 Germans come at me, you know, one at a time, and I did the same thing.
Kind of pull-up maneuver?
The first one would tell the other one, don't fool with him, or, you know, get somebody else. Going to France, we bombed just before they got ready to invade France in the south, and coming back, I was 3 Germans, one at a time, of course, came at me, and I did all 3 of them the same way. And that was the worst. You'd have thought they'd have figured out some way to or pick on somebody else. I don't know.
They kept on coming after you, though.
Yeah. Because I feel like God was involved.
Right.
And
yep.
I did 22 years in the service.
Thank you so much for your time and for your
Okay.
service.
Thank
So we
you.
just wanted to thank you so much for it.
Thank you.
So I think we're good. Scott, you good?
That's good.
All